Independent review organisation Consumer Reports has long been seen as a trusted source by many Americans looking to spend money on everything from home appliances to cars. And in the age of the internet, it's also become a trusted source wider afield too. It's now seen, as many around the world, as a go-to source before making any large purchase decision, especially as its rating systems take into consideration ownership reports from its readers, as well as the verdict of its team of industry professionals. For automakers, earning a Consumer Reports recommendation is seen as a pretty big accolade, since it means that the car is not only seen in a positive light by Consumer Reports review teams, but also by its existing owners. The annual Consumer Reports Reliability Survey is particularly important in helping Consumer Reports rate those vehicles, since it collates the various issues owners have experienced in the previous year and also helps owners predict how reliable the car will be in following months. Sometimes a car that is given a rave review at launch by Consumer Reports, it purchases its own cars to test at list price, just as readers might do, and keeps them for extended periods in order to thoroughly put them through their own paces, only to have readers report a slew of problems later on. And when that happens, Consumer Reports revises those vehicle ratings. And that's exactly how it's been with Tesla and its Model S, Model X, and now Model 3. While Consumer Reports has in the past been complimentary of the Model S, continued reliability experiences by its readers, mainly on the suspension of 2017 model year cars and before that, some transmission issues, have caused it to lose its coveted recommendation from the organisation. Model X has suffered issues too, with its falcon wing doors a common reported problem among owners completing reliability surveys. Despite performing well in all official road tests and enjoying what it calls excellent owner satisfaction, Consumer Reports notes that overall reliability issues mean that neither the Model S nor the Model X currently hold its coveted recommended status. Now the Tesla Model 3 has joined them after the most recent reliability survey reports issues with the Model 3's large touchscreen display, the only driver information interface in the car, as well as trim and glass problems. It used to be a recommended car, but now it isn't. The news has pushed Tesla's shares downwards by nearly 2% shortly after Consumer Reports announced the removal of Model 3 from its recommended list, and lots of news outlets, including this one, have picked up the story. But the purpose of this video isn't to dump on Tesla, as some will undoubtedly say in the comments, nor is it to spread FUD or take out some personal vendetta against the brand, because there isn't one. No. It's to ask one very simple question. Will this removal of recommendation by Consumer Reports affect Tesla Model 3 sales? I don't think it will in the short term, and here's why. First, buying a car is a very personal thing. Yes, cars may be the most expensive thing we buy after a house, but like houses, car purchases are often driven by emotion rather than basic logic. While reliability should, at least I hope, feature in your purchase decision, you buy a car because of how it makes you feel and what it says about you as a person. In other words, if you want a Tesla and your mind is already made up that you want a Tesla because of how it makes you feel, you're unlikely to change your decision based solely on this news. Second, while there's no longer a single Tesla in Consumer Reports recommended list, Tesla as a car brand now sits pretty squarely in the middle of Consumer Reports' overall car brand score list at 66, above many brands like Nissan, Chevrolet, Ford, Land Rover, but below Subaru, Porsche, Audi, BMW, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and others. I should note too that these scores take into consideration all cars across a particular brand. For example, the Chevrolet Bolt EV scores very highly individually in the Consumer Reports Reliability Survey, and it earned praise from Consumer Reports reviewers, despite Chevrolet as a whole not doing so well in terms of reliability. And because Chevrolet makes a lot of different models, even though the Bolt EV is its most reliable car and more reliable than Tesla's, other Chevy models keep overall brand reliability low. My point? There are brands with far less reliability than Tesla, and there are sadly a lot more reliable ones too. Let's get back to my list though. Third on the list of why this won't make a big difference is the fact that Tesla has become synonymous with electric cars. It's a brand that carries a lot of recognition and a lot of social media influence. When you buy a car, you're not just buying a car, you're buying a status symbol, you're buying into Tesla's philosophy, and often you're putting up with stuff that you wouldn't put up with from other firms because Tesla. In this regard, it's like Apple. People don't buy Apple when they want a super reliable, it just works device. Many buy an Apple because they like the Apple ecosystem, because they've bought into the Apple way of doing things, because they like Apple's support and after-sales service, or sadly, because Apple is trendy. Just like many Tesla owners and fans, Apple fans will forgive obvious issues, flaws, and faults that they wouldn't with any other company because Apple. Essentially, the positives to them cancel out the negatives. I know, personally, acknowledging my own confirmation bias here, that that's the case for me, even though I've had problems with pretty much every Apple product I've purchased. I've given Apple an easy time because it lets me stay in the ecosystem and setup that I've had for years and years and invested a lot of time and money into. Sure, my reasons aren't just because Apple, but I'm no different to someone buying a Tesla because Tesla, right? And this actually segues into the penultimate point I want to make, namely that while Tesla has poor reliability scores, its customer satisfaction scores are almost through the roof. In other words, while the cars themselves may break down, customers still love owning Teslas because of the overall ownership experience, including Tesla Autopilot, the supercharging experience, and the overall simplicity that they see driving a Tesla every day. And it's this ownership experience, not to mention the now discontinued customer referral program, which I'm sure has helped generate such a lot of buzz for the brand. The final reason, though, that I think this won't affect Tesla sales in the short to long term is the current lack of competition in the segment, and the fact that Tesla is Tesla rather than a legacy automaker. Suspicion is super high among many plug-in fans when it comes to so-called legacy automakers, and confirmation bias against them and toward Tesla will help Tesla Model 3s rolling off the production line for a long time to come. Even Consumer Reports has been attacked in the past for having some axe to grind against Tesla, as have we actually, many times. Will these reliability reports ultimately be a problem for Tesla? Eventually. As Wall Street stocks have reacted to this news, remember, investors are generally looking long-term unless they're shorts, it's clear that concerns about reliability could eventually cause Tesla issues, especially as rival automakers bring cars to market that rival the Model 3. More people make the switch to plug-in cars, and less Tesla purchases are made by fully signed up fans of the brand. As I've already said this week, the closer to a mainstream market Tesla gets, the more things like reliability and after-sales support will impact sales. Right now, the clock is ticking. Tesla's task is to make sure it doesn't drop the ball moving forwards and to continue to rely on brand goodwill, because ultimately, that will run out. Well, that's it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.